team the vote.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Ryno.
Good Sunday evening, everybody. How we doing? Ryan in Sacktown with you, getting you ready for the Kings and the Nets. You know, Jordy Fernandez has this one circled, and the Kings desperately need a win on their home court coming off of a pathetic performance in Los Angeles. Malik Monk will not be playing in tonight's game. I know we were all hopeful that we were going to get him back. However, he was upgraded from out to doubtful today, meaning maybe you get him back tomorrow night against Oklahoma City. We'll see. We'll break down tonight's game. We'll talk about the NBA. We'll also get into the Western Conference. We'll hear from Coach Brown after the game against the Clippers, and I want to hear from all of you. We had a heck of a post-game show on Friday night. A lot of frustration, and I understand it. A lot of frustration here too as well. So what were you looking to hear from Coach Brown after the game? What did you want to hear from Coach Brown? Either way, you're going to hear it on the other side. We'll break it down, talk about it, and get you ready for the Kings and the Nets. By the way, the Classic Court is back tonight. I'm happy about that. Welcome in to the pregame show on If You Don't Like That.
Late nights on the screen, hey, it's Grant and Ryan. We bleed purple, talking hoops, never lying. Sacramento Kings, we rise and we fall. If you don't like that, then you don't know ball. Jerry sitting with the stories of the game, spilling all the truth, driving legends insane. From the Cow Palace days to Arco's roar, this town's heart beats on the hardwood floor. If you don't like that, turn away now. Kings in our blood, we ride strong and proud. Running up the score, Kings never back down. If you don't like that, this ain't your town.
Yo, welcome back in. Ryan and Sacktown with you. How's everybody's weekend been? Get a little break in the rain. Hope there was no wind really here in my area of town, which I am thankful for. Kids dropping plates and forks everywhere in the background. You know, just a normal Sunday evening around the Ryan and Sacktown household. Anyways, what's happening? We're getting you ready tonight for the Kings and the Nets. The Kings 500 right now on the season, 8-8. And I want to give a shout out to Carmichael Dave. Love Dave. Good dude. Friend of the show. Friend of Grant. He's been really good to me in the past. Dave put out a tweet after Friday's game, because we made a lot about the schedule around here. He actually did the math. The Kings had the second easiest schedule coming into the game against the Clippers. After the Clippers, it is now the second hardest schedule in the NBA. So go figure. Kings are going to have to get it done. And talking about getting it done, it's two things: on your home court, and also, and by the way, the Kings only 500 on their home court so far this season, but also getting it done against the Eastern Conference. The Brooklyn Nets, they are in a full-out rebuild right now, 6-10 on the season, coming off of a loss to Philadelphia, who has been struggling themselves on Friday night as well. Many of you will recognize Jordy Fernandez. Yes, he was the associate head coach here for the Kings for a couple of years, ran the defensive program here in Sacramento, did a lot with substitutions. Also, the Canadian men's head coach, their national team, he is now the coach of the Nets, his first NBA coaching assignment, and this is his first time back in Sacramento since leaving the Kings. So certainly, Jordy's going to be ready to come play Sack. He's going to have a good game plan on hand. The Nets, what do they do well? Not really anything in particular. We'll talk about it on the other side, though. We're brought to you by Bennett's West Side Grill in Rockland. Huge thanks to them for sponsoring the pregame show, and not just the pregame show. Remember, we've got full coverage all night for you, beginning with where you're at right now here on the pre. Then we've got a halftime with Jerry Reynolds coming in at the intermission. We'll talk about the first 24 minutes tonight against the Nets, and then the post-game show. Napes and I wrap it up. We open it up to all of you, and I know some of you Niners fans, for whatever reason, the chat for me is not working. I'm not seeing any chats, but it wouldn't let me send the link out either. So it looks like we're going to be doing this show chat-free. If you want to correspond with this show, call the show. You can use the QR code that is up on the screen. Take a picture of that, and you can call in that way. Otherwise, I'll carry the show without any chats. But huge thanks to Bennett's. Get to Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Do me a favor. They're doing Thanksgiving at Bennett's. If you don't like to cook, think about Bennett's, because you can order to go. You can go in and eat, and they've also got family meals that you can pre-order at Bennett'sRestaurants.com. So go check them out. Big thanks to Brian, Margot, and the team there for sponsoring tonight's show. As I said, Kings, Nets tonight. We talked a little bit about the Kings and the Clippers at the top before the intro music. What a disappointing night for Sacramento, by the way. One of the worst first halves of the Mike Brown era, by far, in my opinion. And coming off of 3 days of rest, that's what was really confusing. You got DeMar DeRozan back in the mix. You also had Domas back in the mix. And the Kings just came out flat in a first quarter, where they scored 12 points. 12 points. Now, that quarter was coming off of a fourth quarter against the Hawks, where they only scored 15. So those 2 quarters of basketball, 27 points combined, very rough. We heard from Coach Brown after the game. Here was his initial thoughts on the game. We got about 6 clips that we're going to go through, because I think they're important. There was a lot of frustration on this channel on Friday night, and it might frustrate you a little bit more hearing what Coach Brown had to say. Here's our first clip.
And their team, they outcoached and outplayed us tonight. So we got to give them their due respect. That first half was probably, if it wasn't the worst half of basketball I've seen us play since I've been here, it was close. We were not a step slow. We were three, 4 steps slow to whatever was going on out on the floor, on both ends of the floor. There was very limited aggressiveness to us offensively, and same defensively. And when you're on your heels in this league, teams will make you pay, and the Clippers did.
You know what was most frustrating about that at the beginning of the game? And as we go through these, we're going to put out some stats for tonight so you can digest what the Kings are doing. Here's the information on the Kings coming into tonight. Again, 8-8 on the season. 9.5 point favorites tonight. And again, no Malik Monk. Brooklyn, by the way, they are going to be also out a couple of guys. For me, the one that I am keeping my eyes on the most, Dennis Schroeder. For whatever reason, Schroeder, whatever you want to call him, the guy, he's got the little white part in front of his hair, likes to shoot a lot. Yeah, Dennis Schroeder is a game time decision. That may have changed. We'll see as we get closer to it. But Dorian Finney-Smith, a guy that comes off the bench for them, or actually starts most nights, he's going to be out tonight. He played 26 minutes against the 76ers. You will get a healthy dose of Ben Simmons tonight, and a name that's been very popular here in Sacramento in trade talks, Cam Thomas. Certainly a close eye will be on him, and also Cam Johnson. He has also been the target of many trade talks. And in fact, in the draft, the Kings were tied to talks for Cam Johnson. But getting back to what the Kings are doing, here is our numbers for the Kings, and it's not necessarily pretty. That's our opponent. We need to get to the Kings. It's not necessarily pretty. Not going to lie to you. 8-8. Did you have this team at 500 through 16 games and through the easiest part of their schedule? I didn't. But Coach Brown talking about the frustration with the Kings being 3 or 4 steps slow. against the Clippers. The most frustrating thing for me in that one is the Clippers didn't come out and do anything special. There wasn't a certain set. There wasn't anything in particular that the Clippers were doing to hurt the Kings. In fact, I would argue the Kings hurt the Kings in that first quarter. Just a lack of structure. It looked almost, in fact, coach wants to say 3 or 4 steps slow. Maybe he's talking about the defensive end. I thought on the offensive end, it looked completely discombobulated right out of the gate. Which then leads to missed shots, which leads to confusion, which leads to a word that we are saying far too much in Sacramento right now: turnovers. The Kings have not just been turning the ball over at too high of a rate, they have been giving the ball away many times at too high of a clip. Coach Brown also talking more after the game against the Clippers.
Will take my hat off to our guys, because I thought in the second half we went out and we competed. We didn't do much in the second half in terms of trying to run this play or that play. We just went out and said, hey, we're just going to freaking compete, play pick and roll, touch the paint, and spray the basketball. And I give our guys credit. Fox had a heck of a game for us, especially in the second half. Domas was big. Domas was huge tonight. DeMar, for his first game back, he was fine. But we have to get production from others.
Coach, you said Domas was huge for you that night? Interesting. By huge, do you mean huge in the turnover department? 6 turnovers, some of which were just completely bad ideas, plays that Domas doesn't normally make. I don't think DeMar did anything in particular. Now, De'Aaron Fox, the guy that has been the talk of the town, the reigning Western Conference Player of the Week for your Sacramento Kings, I thought he played a very good game. Yes, little bit slow to start, but in the second half, De'Aaron really picked it up. Ever since him and Luke Laux had the text conversation, had the film session, something has changed with De'Aaron's game, and it's the change that many Kings fans have been asking for. They want a more aggressive Fox. They want things going towards the hoop as opposed to settling for the three-pointer. In this one, he had 7 assists and 7 three-point attempts. I've given it the moniker, the Fox formula. When De'Aaron's three-point attempts are in line or in the same neighborhood as his assist number, typically he is playing his best basketball. He is playing at really an all-star level, and that's what we've seen over the last week. Unfortunately, the Kings bench could not do anything. We're going to hear from Coach Brown here in a second about Colby Jones, which a lot of you were not happy about. I get it. I get it. We'll get to it in a second. But your shooting guard, Kevin Huerter, 0 points in 29 minutes. 0 points. Didn't get to the free throw line once. Attempted 5 shots, 4 of which were threes. 3 rebounds. 1 assist in 29 minutes. Keegan Murray, 10 points. That's been an ongoing discussion here in Sacramento. What's the deal with Keegan? Is it just shooting? Is there something more? Coach Brown continued after the game.
It's Colby. Kobe came in, we threw him in the game, and obviously he was active defensively. And he touched the paint a couple of times and sprayed it just the way we want to play. And when that ball hit his hands and he was open, he let it fly. I hope others will take note of the way he played, even though he only played 5 or 6 minutes for us tonight.
Others take note of the way that Colby played? I'm sorry. I get that it was good for Colby Jones, but he didn't do anything special, Coach. You want others to take note of what Colby did? As we get further and further into the season, I begin to get further and further confused about what's going on with the offense. What is the game plan with the offense? One thing that stuck out to me in particular against the Clippers was the second that Doug McDermott stepped onto the court, the Clippers knew exactly what they wanted to do. And that was get James Harden on him. So what did they do? Ran a ball screen. They got the switch, the mismatch. They thought a step ahead to get what they wanted, and they went to it 2 or 3 times in a row. Sometimes I wonder, and we've seen it in the chat. I don't see it today because I'm not seeing your messages at the moment, but I've definitely gotten enough messages on the X platform or during the King's Court Monday through Friday saying, why are we a team that is reactionary? Why isn't this team proactive? And I get it. I totally get it. Now, I don't want to make too much out of one game, but as you look at the Western Conference and where the Kings sit right now, they are 12th in the Western Conference. And by the way, the Western Conference is getting better and better by the day, unfortunately. How about the Portland freaking Trailblazers? They're playing really good basketball. Houston, not going away, even though they did take an L this weekend. The Kings haven't seen some of these teams yet. So, anyways, a lot to get figured out. Coach Brown was a little bit, I would say, combative during his press conference. This is about as upset or mad as you're going to hear Coach Brown. Here he is again.
And give our guys credit for competing in the second half, but we can't play the way we play tonight. We need more from a lot of individuals than what we're getting right now.
Okay. Which individuals, Coach? Which ones? Let us know. Coach, you got to just call somebody out, Coach. You coddle this team sometimes. Why don't you call a person out? Coach Brown continues.
Have to be the aggressors. And that doesn't mean go in there and throw up some bullshit shot. Attack the paint. If you draw a second guy, play off a 2 and spray it. We're not doing that now. We're taking tough shots that are unnecessary. And, when we're open, there are a lot of times that we're not shooting it and shooting it with confidence. And so that has to change.
Okay, so here's the deal. Thank you, Dennis. I see that you guys, Dennis, if you want to keep DMing me some screenshots so I can see your comments, that would be great. But here's the deal, Coach. I've shared these numbers the last couple of shows. If the offensive game plan for this team is to get to the paint and spray the ball, here's your problem. Coming in to this game, this was the amount of baskets your guys had that are unassisted. McLaughlin, 5 baskets unassisted. How about that? 5 baskets. Let's go to your starters. Kevin Huerter, 7 unassisted. How about Keegan? 17. What I'm saying is the system is not matching your players, Coach. Your players are not creators. They are finishers. Now, what's the answer to that? Yes, you have creators in Domas. You have creators in De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk to a degree. But everybody else, for the most part, it's not their game. So you're asking them to step out and play a game that doesn't play to their strengths. And I think that is part of the frustration of what's going on here in SAC with the fan base, with Coach, who doesn't seem very much willing to change the structure of what the Kings are doing. And also defensively, they have not been bad. We've talked about that numerous times. The defense has not been bad this season, but the 3-point defense has been horrendous. And not only is the 3-point defense horrendous, and I know they did a decent job against the Clippers, the 3-point defense is bad because you're allowing so many 3-pointers. They allow the second most threes to their opponents in the NBA, in addition to being second in the NBA or second worst at guarding the 3-point line. So a little bit more back into tonight. This team's got to get balanced. This team's got to get right. You've got a Brooklyn team coming in again that is in a full rebuild. This Brooklyn team, we'll talk about them right now, is rebuilding. The only thing that you have going for Brooklyn is a team that can shoot the three ball, and they like to shoot the three. Outside of that, there is not a ton that they do particularly well. They're not good rebounders. They do not guard the mid range well at all. They foul a ton. Their pace, they are slowest in the NBA. Brooklyn does not like to play at a high pace. So when you look at this game on paper, this should be a no-brainer for the Kings. But then you circle what Brooklyn does behind the three-point line. They're fifth in the NBA, or excuse me, seventh in the NBA in three-point attempts. They shoot 40 a game. Three-point percentage, they're eighth in the NBA. They shoot it at 37.6% per game. So we know what the Kings are going to have to do. They're going to have to push them off the three-point line. Looking at some of the comments, let's see. Bane, Dennis, is it just us? Can you guys not see the show? You guys can see the show, right? I'm looking at Dennis's DMs. All right. The beam is cold. We need to power it. It needs to light up. All right. What's up, MC? See Bane in here again. Okay, so I'll keep trying my best to look at these, Dennis. I'm not sure why our system is not translating the chats, but do me a favor, give us a thumbs up. We would love for you to do that. Also, make sure you subscribe if you've not subscribed to the show already. We would love to have you subscribe to if you don't like that. We're talking Kings. We are talking Nets, tipping off here at 6 o'clock from the G1C. No Malik Monk in this game. No Malik Monk. He was upgraded to doubtful, meaning hopefully you will have him back before the Oklahoma City game. First night of a back-to-back for the Kings, as well as Dennis continues to share photos. Look at this guy, man. Dennis hooking up the comments here. Ryno has been talking about the G League for time now. And when you, Scottie Pippen Jr. balling out. Let's see. Furious Wolf, what's up? Thanks for being here. Yeah, the Cowboys. How about the Cowboys? Niners fans, how are you feeling right now? Man, you know, they put up a graphic today. They said 15% chance of making the playoffs if you've lost this one today. I don't know. I just feel like that team's too good not to make the playoffs. Regardless of how they're playing, regardless of the injuries, they're just too good. And I would not want to see them in the playoffs if they're able to get in. The West is up for grabs. I know we're a Kings show, but I'm happy to talk a little bit about that as well. So anyways, getting back to tonight, no Malik Monk. Hopefully you will have him back. As for the Nets, you know, last game, here's what they did. Dorian Finney-Smith, who at last check, let me update that as we speak. It's so weird doing this without chats. All right, so we are updated. Schroeder is out. So no Dennis Schroeder, no Finney-Smith, no Bogdanovich. So they're hurting. They're hurting. No doubt about that. So you're going to have Cam Johnson. So they're going to be missing two starters tonight. Two starters. But you still got Ben Simmons, Cam Johnson out there, as well as Cam Thomas. Thomas put up 18 last game against the 76ers. It was a loss, 113-98. You got 37 from Cam Johnson. An efficient 37, by the way. He was 14 of 21, 9 of 13 from beyond the arc. So we talk about the three-point line. That is one of the keys to the game. It's pushing them off the three-point line. It's being proactive and not reactive. Come out with some pressure defensively. Extend that pressure. Use your fouls. This is a team that does not like to guard. You can see it in their pace. They are the second to worst team in the NBA at fouling. So take it to the hoop. Now, will we see some different wrinkles from Coach Brown to start this one? I think you might. If you paid attention really close, you saw that Keegan Murray, the Kings ran 2 plays for him right out of the gate. Usually those are 2 plays for Kevin Huerter. If tonight things don't change and we see the same formula, and I said it on the post-game show with Grant last game, that it felt like you could pick up a newspaper from last year and look at the box score and wonder if that was the box from this year, where you have a couple guys that aren't doing much that are in your starting lineup. Your bench isn't giving you much. what's the recourse at that point? We've had numerous different open discussions with all of you, with Jerry Reynolds, about what are the options for Coach Brown. Can Coach Brown make a change with the starting lineup? Should Keon Ellis be in there? What would Kevin Herter do with that second unit? Orlando Robinson, is he going to be able to give the Kings anything? Trey Lyles, how about him? Can we get more consistently from Trey? What does Coach have to play with? I think that's a conversation that needs to be revisited. The Kings were thoroughly, not just outplayed in Los Angeles, they were outcoached in Los Angeles. In fact, Coach Brown went on to talk about the fact that they didn't even structure anything after the halftime. They're just like, you know what? We're just going to throw the ball out there and we're going to do some pick and roll. Check this out.
Let's say it again. Offensively, we want to touch the paint. All right. And we want to spray the basketball. If you draw a second guy, if you don't draw a second guy, you better finish strong. All right. And if you get a kick or there's a kick to a swing and you're open, shoot it and shoot it with confidence. And if the ball hits Doma's hands and moved around the perimeter a little bit, cut. We're not a team that just stands there and watches the basketball. You got to cut. You got to collapse the defense. You collapse the defense not just by the dribble drive, but by a scoring cut too. And you're sacrificing yourself for your teammates in order to create some space so somebody else can now possibly drive. and we didn't do a good enough job in any of those categories.
All right. I am on YouTube, so I am watching your chat live as I host the show. So I will do my best to answer the questions. No, the Kings have not done well in those categories, but here's the deal. Those categories aren't working. You're 8-8 on the season, and you played your easiest stretch of basketball. Here is what Brooklyn does individually. We've got that. Some of the numbers that I was telling you up front about them as a team, let's go over them really quick. I've got my areas highlighted. I told you about the fouls. They do not like to play defense. They foul the second most in the NBA. That's actually on this screen right here. You'll see the personal fouls, 29th in the NBA. How about blocks? Coach Brown wants the guys to get to the paint and spray the ball tonight. 30th in the NBA in blocks. No rim protection. So no reason that the Kings cannot come out and be more aggressive and proactive. Terrible rebounding team. The Kings have been awful at offensive rebounding this season. Brooklyn has been just a little bit worse. 25th in the NBA at offensive rebounding. 29th defensive rebounding. Overall, they are 30th in the league at rebounding. Really bad stuff. Now, as for the fouling, that goes both ways. If you're aggressive and you are able to get to the free throw line, this team will let you shoot free throws. 28th and 27th in the NBA, respectfully, in free throws attempted and made free throws by their opponents. As for what they do well offensively, you see it right there. It's the three ball. We talked about it. 8th in the NBA at three-point percentage, 7th in the NBA at three-point attempts. That is what they are going to want to do tonight. We talked about Cam Johnson, who had a 9 of 13 game last time out from beyond the arc for the Nets. So the three ball is going to be what Jordy wants to do, but don't expect it to be particularly easy for the Kings. Ben Simmons is not that great of a guy, but he is long and he can bother some of these guys on the perimeter. So that's really how this one breaks down. You can look at field goal percentage. That's something that I had highlighted, by the way. If you look down at the bottom there where there's that 26 right there, they don't like to guard the mid-range very well. So the Kings, De'Aaron Fox can get to his spots there. Can Keegan Murray get to the elbows? That's the shot that he wants as well. So again, on paper, this should absolutely be a Kings victory. This should not even be close. Unfortunately, Dennis, you're good. You don't have to send me any more photos. I can see the comments now. But thank you, by the way. But this one should be a win. It all comes down to mindset. It comes down to coaching. Coach Brown needs to coach a better game tonight, period. End of story. I don't know how you can call out your guys. And I get Kevin. Actually, no, Kevin has not been passive. I do not think Kevin has been too passive. I get Keegan has been passive. here and there. He's in a rut. You got to do something to get him out of it. Telling him to get to the paint and spray the ball ain't going to get him out of it. The kid needs some more structure. This team needs some more structure. Something this team has not had really since 22-23, since the Kings made the playoffs. So anyways, Kings rocking the old school court tonight, rocking the throwback jerseys. Can't wait to see those. I'm still waiting on the 2002 jerseys. To me, those are the best jerseys of all time. 2001, 2002. This is the court they played on. Why not bust those out when you're busting this court out? There's no excuse. You lose this game on this court tonight, oh my goodness, cannot happen. Can't happen whatsoever. So we're talking Kings. We are talking Nets from the G1C tonight. We'll talk the NBA, what's going on there tonight here in a few minutes. I'll tell you what's going on. It's brunch in Prime Rib this weekend at Bennett's. Did you make it out for either? If not, it's not too late. You can make it out for Prime Rib dinner tonight, but don't worry. Don't want to go out, already had dinner? Go tomorrow. You can get happy hour 2 to 6 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Also, wine and dine Monday. When you go to bennettsrestaurants.com, you'll see all the different specials they have throughout the week. And man, they've got a bunch of them. And Thanksgiving is already here. Can y'all believe it? We are almost to Thanksgiving. Before you know it, it's going to be Christmas. Holy crap. It goes quick. But if you aren't planning to cook or you like to go out on Thanksgiving, Bennett's will be open in there for you for both. They'll be open from 11 to 7 o'clock Thanksgiving for dining in. Also, you can put your pre-orders in now for hot and fresh family meals ready to go from Bennett's, all 3 locations at bennettsrestaurants.com. They do the work. You enjoy the food, kick your feet up, watch some football, and hang with the fam. Love their prime cuts of seafood, steak, salads, incredible soups. What I'm saying, get to bennettsrestaurants.com. Check out their offerings. Very affordable and incredible food, service, portion size, ambiance. I could go on forever. And when you go check them out, make sure you tell them that you heard about them here on If You Don't Like That. And thank you to all of you that have been out to Bennett's. Brian has come to us and, given us a lot of very good feedback about some of you, a lot of you that have gone out to the restaurant. Dave says Keegan is not aggressive and rarely takes shots. Well, yeah. But Dave, again, unassisted baskets. Keegan Murray is not a creator. Like, you are asking Keegan Murray, so the game plan coach, you want me to make a couple moves, get to the paint, and then throw the ball out? Or if I don't throw the ball out, I better finish it or get fouled. Like, it's not Keegan's game. Now, I get he's an NBA player. He needs to keep growing. What I'm saying is, you're not, in my opinion, putting guys in positions to be successful. And if you want to talk about something that we need to revisit, it's the DHO. I understand the DHO is the bread and butter of what we consider to be the best run of this team together, which was their playoff year. But it doesn't work anymore. Rarely does it work. Domas is making worse decisions than he ever has. 6 turnovers last game. You know what has worked? Having the ball in De'Aaron Fox's hands. Get the ball in De'Aaron's hands. I think a little bit less time with the ball in Domas's hands, administering the offense, and more time in De'Aaron's hands, especially now with the decision-making that De'Aaron Fox is making. That is going to get you those sprays. That's going to get you to the free throw line. That's what's going to get you into the paint to collapse the defense and open up the opportunities for Kevin Huerter, for Keegan Murray, for Trey Lyles, the guys that are finishers and not creators, if you get my drift. D. Johnson, Kings are good, not great. End of analysis. Great, thanks. You can do the show for me, D. Good job. BJ, structure. Keon has improved on defense. Yeah, Keon had a bad preseason, though. Very bad preseason. Let's see. Keegan and Keon need to step up. Look, everybody needs to step up tonight. ESPN's win predictor has them at 70.9%. The Kings to win this one. Again, you go back to Brooklyn's numbers. Everything that Brooklyn does not like to do or does not do well, with the exception of the three ball, are all points of emphasis for the Kings. Those are all supposed to be the staples for the Kings. And look, when you have a team that started the game out, by the way, they had back-to-back buckets last game in their second and third possession. They did not have back-to-back buckets again until 3.5 minutes into the second quarter. Where's the timeouts? Where's the changeup? What are you trying to do different? In fact, they only had 4 field goals. Now, I get that corrected. I get that in the third quarter, they played well. De'Aaron Fox put this team on his back. It was not enough. But that's what I'm saying. The Kings need to come out and throw the first punch. That's what I'm looking for tonight. Energy. If you see this team being out hustled tonight, if you see the rebounds not going the Kings' way tonight, this is going to be a long night for the Kings, because these are all the areas that the Kings are supposed to excel and should excel, especially against a team like this tonight in Brooklyn. Cam Johnson, though, you got to watch him. Special talent. Remind you, 37 last game, 9 of 13 from beyond the arc in that one. So don't forget, we are back tonight at halftime. Make sure you join us. Jerry will be with us. We'll make sure that we get the chat issue all fixed up before then. This stream software lately, I apologize, y'all. Thanks for hanging in there with us. I know we've had a couple issues over the past week, but Jerry will be with us. And then post game, we will be doing our post game show. It's the staple of the channel. Always a lot of fun. Opening it up to you. Great calls last show, by the way. Very, very good show. So can the Kings get back to a game over 500? And here's the other question. Can you do it in a fashion where your starters don't have to play big minutes? You've got Oklahoma City tomorrow night. OKC. You need to have some fresh legs. Starters last game. DeMar played 36. Keegan, 40. Domas, 40. Herder, 29. De'Aaron, 42 minutes. Coach Brown's on the record saying that he does not want. He wants to keep the starters right around 35 minutes. Can you get that done in a timely fashion tonight? Can you help your guys out tonight? Then get that extra boost from Malik, hopefully coming back tomorrow. NBA scores as we sit tonight. You have got the Cavaliers 65-55 up on the Raptors. That one just beginning in the third quarter, the second half just getting underway. Put this one back up. Here we go. Sorry about that. Not Bennett's. There we go. You also have the Celtics, who knocked off the Timberwolves 107-105. So the Kings, look, them and the T-Wolves, they are 11-12 as we sit in the West, both 8-8. So that is now 8-9 for the Timberwolves. So you want to get up tonight. You want to be better there. Let's see. Oh, no, you know what? 8-8. No, they are 8-8. Pacers 115-103, winners over the Wizards. You've got the Clippers now on a 2-game roll, 125-99 over the 76ers. Dallas loses again in overtime to Miami, 123-118. And that's the scoreboard as we sit waiting for the tip with the Kings and the Brooklyn Nets. The Western Conference looks like this. Golden State first in the West, 12-4, playing good basketball. However, they did lose their last one out. Oklahoma City, who rolls into town tomorrow night, they are sitting at 12-4 as well. Their net rating, by the way, is 10.7. They just got Hartenstein back, so they are starting to roll, learning life without Chet Holmgren. Houston Rockets, They've lost one as of late, but they are still playing really damn good basketball at 12-6. They are figuring it out. Ime Udoka's a heck of a head coach. Their net rating 8.7. Here's something to watch. The Lakers, who lost yesterday, they are 10-6 and fourth in the Western Conference as we speak, but their net rating is a negative 0.5. A negative 0.5. So is that going to be sustainable for them? Are the Lakers going to be in this one for the long haul? We'll see. Furious, it's simple, Ryan. Kings have to make shots. They've got to make shots, and they also have to not beat themselves. Kings cannot beat themselves. There's been way too many turnovers, things where they are just not on the same page. Elvire, hey, Ryan, what do you think about the Kings getting Dwight? Nah. Ryan, hungry? LOL. No, I am not hungry. And I'm especially not hungry for that damn Thanksgiving pizza. No. Please no. Let's see, Dave. Keegan's not aggressive. We got to that one. Dennis, Keegan needs to score more. Average was supposed to go up 12 to 15. Question mark. Look, we can't make any for sure judgments about this team. We've said we need 20, maybe 25 games for the Kings before we can really get an idea of who they are. But we're getting there. We're getting pretty close to that number. And, Grant talked about it last post-game show, and I thought it was a great point. The DeMar thing. There were some pundits out there, and really some idiots, I should say, that were saying, oh, DeMar should be coming off the bench. He's not going to work in Sacramento. Well, I disagree that DeMar is not working here in Sacramento. I'm just not sure that the Kings are playing to their strengths as much as they should be. I talked about their principles that they instituted in training camp, offensive rebounding, crash zones. The Kings are not rebounding well offensively. Corners. They're shooting the ball really well from the corners. They're just not getting to the corners. Less than 110 of them this season, even though they're shooting between 45 and 47% from the corners. Also, pace. The Kings wanted to be in the top, top 5 in the NBA in pace, 15th in pace. So still a lot of ways to go for them, but they got to get back on track tonight. Again, this one is fundamental. Push the Nets off the three-point line, put some pressure on them, play physical without fouling, and don't allow second opportunities. This is not a good rebounding team. You do that, you come out, guard the pick and roll effectively. The Kings should win this one, and they should hopefully be getting their starters some rest to save up those legs for OKC tomorrow night. All right. Bane. Bane. Hell no. It's not happening, Bane. I went to 4 stores today. 4 stores. And I could not find that thing. So my due diligence is done. I have put the effort in. For those that don't know, there's this DiGiorno Thanksgiving pizza. Not only is it a frozen pizza, it's a pizza with turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, cranberries, green beans, that some of my friends and some of the knuckleheads are planning to eat. They're all going up and they're grabbing all of them. And so I said, if you guys get them, then I will get one too. I didn't think they'd actually get them. They got them. I can't get one. So no, I am not hungry for that. But anyways, what I am hungry for is a Kings victory. No Malik Monk tonight for this one. Hopefully you have him back tomorrow night again for the Brooklyn Nets. They are playing underhanded too. No Dennis Schroeder. No Dorian Finney-Smith. No Bogdanovich for them. And also Jordy Fernandez's return to Sacramento. You got the classic 2001-2002 court. Should be a fun night, a momentum building night. Get the damn beam back and come back at halftime with us. Jerry Reynolds will be with us. Looking forward to that. Thank you all so much for joining me here on the pregame show. Sorry I had to carry it predominantly without comments. It is a 10 times better show when we are corresponding back and forth. We'll get that fixed for the halftime show and the post game. Don't forget, again, post game, Grant and I wrap it up for you tonight. We will be taking your calls, hopefully with the beam lit behind us. Kings, 10.5-point favorites now since the injury report has come out. Nonetheless, go Kings, light the damn beam. We will see you at the half. Make sure you join us. Make sure you are subscribed. Thank you so much for being here on If You Don't Like That and the pregame show. Appreciate you all. We will see you at the intermission with Jerry Reynolds. Have a great first half, everybody. So long.